if you can get over the fact that, like, yes, you don't know anything yet, and you can get to the point of like, but I'm having fun learning. I think you're going to like actually love this game, because I've always kind of thought of Tekken as like a learning simulator. There's just so much stuff that like you always have to learn something new or relearn something. But in the old games, there was, back in the day, they didn't even have a good training mode, like let alone recordings or replays. So shout out to the people that actually got good at the old Tekkens, like just at home and in the arcade. That's insane.
Hello, and welcome to the Absolute Guard Podcast. We're a competitive fighting game community podcast examining history and current events from the lens of the Arizona grassroots scene.
Yes, welcome. This is episode 72. My name is Benny, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jon. And today we have on returning guest, Mr. Shaundude and Mr. WillGetPaid. What is up, guys?
Yo, hello. Thank you for having me back. I'm happy to be here.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back on here. Excited to talk about some Tekken, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yep. Yeah, so what was it? What day did it release? Was it like 3 days ago?
It was the 26th.
26th? Oh, wasn't that long?
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah. So, yeah, we just had the release of Tekken 8, and to accompany that, Shaundude was also celebrating his birthday, which I guess was conveniently happening at the same time. And they just had a really good, I can't even think of the word, man. I'm like mixing up my words right now. But you guys had a well-attended tournament. I saw, was it 46 entrants?
46 entrants with a whole, extra spectators and, food and giveaways and prizes and trophies. And it was, like I like to call it the birthday extravaganza. Nice. It was a really nice time, a really good time.
Yeah. That's a great way to celebrate your birthday. Have a bunch of friends around, new Tekken game. Like, I mean, can't beat that, right? It's like Christmas.
Playing a new game, yeah.
I asked Bandai Namco specifically, I need this for my birthday. Please. I said, all right, just this once.
Didn't they like initially delay it? Or was I thinking of something else? Was there like an initial delay? Maybe they did that for you.
I think it always had the January 26th release date.
Yeah.
Well, either way, they were thinking of you.
There's something super cool about launch tournaments too, where it's like you're competing obviously, but you're celebrating something too. You're celebrating the launch of the game, but now you also get to celebrate Sean's birthday, so it's like all these good positive emotions rolled up in one big tournament. It's a celebration of Tekken that day, I think.
Yeah. So in terms of the tournament, like where did you guys have where was it held at? Was it at the police station, or were you guys at some other venue?
It was at the police station, baby. The Patrick K. Hardesty Midtown Service Station is where we have all of our locals, all of our casuals here in Tucson every Friday night. And then, whenever we do tournaments, like we've had some Street Fighter events, we've had Tekken events, we've had, every sort of thing that sort of come on. And it's great because it's a community area. We don't ever have to charge a venue fee. So it's just, if you want to come and spectate and hang out, just do that. No charge, no nothing.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you're listening and you're in Tucson, that's the place to be in Tucson on Fridays or the tournament days, which are basically like monthlies right now on Saturday, occasional Saturdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And you can go to Shaundude.com or Google search Shaundude, go to Shaundude YouTube or Tucson Tekken Discord. We'll make sure you get connected.
Yeah. So in terms of like the tournament itself, were there I don't know if you guys want to talk about the results a little bit before we kind of jump into some more specific like Tekken 8 talk. But were there any kind of like newcomers that you guys saw, like that heard about the tournament and showed up, or was it kind of a, so you got a mixture of kind of the Tekken 7 players and some of the OGs? Like, what was the turnout like for you guys?
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of new faces that I didn't recognize from Phoenix. So Steve, I'll let you talk about who you guys all bring down. It was a great amount of people.
Yeah, so we had a pretty good a group come down from Phoenix. There was, the people you see at most of our locals, but I think there was a lot of interest from new players or players from like other games. So, Maynard, it was funny, the day before we were just having our kind of launch day casual session at TJZ, and there was a couple people, met some new people there. But before I left, Maynard was like, hey, you want to carpool down to Tucson? And I didn't even realize he was going, but yeah, he competed.
Nice.
We had, let's see, who was new from Phoenix? I mean, I guess he's not really, he is sort of new to Phoenix, but High joined us. High is from Michigan originally. He's a very high level, no pun intended. He's a really strong Jack player from Michigan, and he moved to AZ last year, I believe. But he's kind of way out west. He's in like Goodyear or something like that. I don't know, but he's not close by, so he shows up when he can. And yeah, he came to Tucson for the first time ever last weekend, so that was awesome. So trying to think of like anyone else super new.
Smoking Hot BBQ, like he's been with you guys for a little bit, but he's never been to Tucson for an event.
That's his tag. That's what he goes by, Smoking Hot BBQ.
Smoking Hot BBQ. It makes me hungry every time I hear it. So good. Smoking Hot Steve Flair with some Smoking Hot BBQ.
But see, that's like, you got to think about that in terms of like a TO, right? And if I'm in a venue somewhere and I'm like, hey, has anybody seen any Smoking Hot BBQ? Like, come on, man.
Well, I think he's from like New Orleans, so kind of makes sense. Like I bet they have delicious barbecue down there. So
well, they got good food. I mean, I don't know about barbecue, but they got good food there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just of funny bracket names. At Undefeated several years ago, I was helping Daniel run a Tekken bracket. Daniel, Dragon Ninja, and there was somebody who signed up with the name like Hoof, like a horse's hoof.
Yep.
And then Hearted. And then Daniel and I were looking at this bracket, and then we're like trying to find this person because they haven't checked in. We're Hoof-Hearted. Hoof-Hearted. We're looking for Hoof-Hearted. Does anybody know Hoof-Hearted?
Yeah.
Going crazy trying to find out Hoof-Hearted. And then we just looked at it and we're just like, oh, we looked at each other. We got it at the same time. Like, oh no. We got pranked.
I remember I did that on the stream. I did that on the other stream. Like I went on the mic and I decided to do it just when we realized it. And then I remember I think the commentators for like the Smash stream were like, did he just, and they just started laughing too. Yeah, that's the example I was gonna think of. That was the exact one.
That's a good one. Well, we also had we had somebody fly in from Austin, Texas, from the Austin, Texas Tekken scene because they just heard about, my birthday tournament because I just had been
That's
going
good
around.
Promotion right there.
Yeah.
Somebody just flies out and like, heard it's your birthday tournament.
Yeah.
Wait, so like, did you guys like actually know them from like, running the Evo or any other tournaments, or did they just hear about things and they were just like, hey, I'm coming to Arizona?
I knew. So his name is Danny Masatsu. He's a Tekken player and also like Street Fighter player as well. He's kind of infamous in the Tekken scene because he plays 2D characters like Geese and Akuma, and which he does not have that anymore. So, but yeah, he is actually sort of like connected with the Hawaii Tekken scene, and I'm also like connected with the Hawaii Tekken scene. I helped them like run a couple of online tournaments during the pandemic, and I was born in Hawaii and I never got like a good chance to go back. So that was my way of connecting. And like he was entering some of those tournaments we were talking, and yeah, I just would go into like every Twitch streamer, like the streaming Tekken that I knew, and be like, hey man, Joey, I just want to let you know I'm having this big birthday tournament and you're invited and everybody in chat's invited to my birthday. Here's the details. Like just telling everybody everywhere that I could. And, I guess you put out enough lines and somebody, something's got to bite. And it was so awesome to have Danny fly out for the tournament. And, maybe, who knows, Arizona might have a couple more people flying in for some competition and stuff. Because, we got some good players. We're pretty strong in multiple games.
Was it his first time in Arizona?
First time in Arizona.
Oh, wow. That's huge. Yeah, awesome. A random Tekken launch tournament.
Yeah,
hosted by somebody
of all places.
Yeah, in Tucson for somebody's birthday. And he was just like, you know what? I'm going out there. That's awesome.
No, it was super duper cool. So yeah, like all in all, 46 people, new and old. one of the members of our Tucson scene here, you go Marty Party. He ended up creating a bunch of trophies and medals for top 8. Top 4 got trophies. The rest of top 8 got medals, which you can see here behind me here. Steve also has one, which was super awesome of him to do. Oh yeah, show that bad boy up.
Yeah.
Look at that sitting in the shadow box too. That's craftsmanship.
It's very high quality stuff. It's got some weight to it.
I'll go ahead and pull up the pictures right now too that you sent me.
Yeah. So you're talking about the top 8 and the top 4. So I mean, who ended up in those positions? If you want to start from the bottom, we'll start with the I guess the tied for 7th, right?
Yeah. I got the photos of it right here. So tied for 7th, we have Tucson kind of bringing up the rear with Shaggy, who is a Yoshimitsu player, who's somebody kind of newer to the scene that I took to his first major. We went to Evo together. And Marty Party also in 7th. And then in 5th place, we had Skate Xavier, who's been in the scene for a long while here in Tucson, but hasn't really traveled too much, as well as tied for 5th, Bailey Blue, who's a Nina player who actually just turned a couple of heads because there was a very big online tournament on Tuesday hosted by TNS, Tampa Never Sleeps, at 285 people, and he ended up getting 12th place, beating both Junya 20Z and Shadow 20Z, who you might recognize from the Tekken World Tour Finals. Person who beat Arslan Ash at the World Tour Finals a couple of years ago. So that was really, really tremendous of him. So that's running out for 5th. 4th place, we have our very own wonderful Will Get Paid here playing the Steve. 3rd place was High from Phoenix. Great showing for him. And then grand finals and 2nd place, we have Tucson's, formerly SoCal's, but now Tucson's son, Project Runaway, who has been playing Tekken for an extremely super duper long time. A big person, what used to be in all the Wednesday night fights, tournaments back in Santa Ana. And then in 1st place, well, that trophy might be colored gold for a reason, baby. I might have Shaundude took, because I had the birthday buff. So Shaundude took the whole tournament.
The birthday buff, the home field advantage, right? Being in Tucson, it wasn't even a neutral site. Come on, man.
Exactly. I had good food. We had carne asada, spam musubi, some great Filipino home cooking, cookies.
Yeah. Project Runaway, he made some delicious, I think it was called singong, but he made some Filipino
sinigang,
food.
Sinigang. Soup?
Yes.
Yeah, some soup. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Benny, it's so good. It blew my mind. The citrusy flavor, how tender the beef was. It was so good.
Well, I'm half Filipino, and Mary's full Filipino, so I should know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know half the dishes. I eat half of the dishes. The other half I don't eat.
I find out it's really funny. I find out more people in the FGC are Filipino every time I go to an event, dude. I swear, because I didn't know Rodolfo, or I didn't know Project Runaway was Filipino until he came in with the the food and everything, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, dude, I love Filipino food actually. So
Filipinos are everywhere, man. They're SoCal, NorCal, Alaska. There's Filipino communities all over the place, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome. And if you Benny, you haven't had the opportunity to come to a Tucson tournament, but John, you've come to a couple Tucson tournaments. We always like to bring food into the mix. It's a eat and play sort of situation. There's always something going on. So this one, I had the theme of potluck. Let everybody just kind of bring a little something, and it ended up being super awesome. Super
man.
Awesome.
If I had to pick the most grassroots and organic event in Arizona, it would be the casuals and the tournaments that are hosted by you at the police station. These give me the vibes of back in 2009 when I first started playing. So super cool.
Thank you so much, man.
I'm hoping to come by one of these months. I got to figure it out. I know that the X Button Maynard is doing the X Championship Series that's starting up, and actually this Saturday in Casa Grande. But then some of the monthlies in Tucson were going to be involved in that too. And I don't know, I might try to make one of those. I might take a 3-day weekend and come down, because like that's something me and Scott talked about in terms of coming down for one of the tournaments. So I definitely want to do that. And then my son's been playing Street Fighter 6, so I mean, be a nice little father son trip maybe.
Absolutely. And the venue is only about 10 minutes away from round 1. So after the tournament, it's usually like a lot of people end up going to round 1 afterwards for, maybe some bowling, some arcade games, decompress, release the salt, playing some nice rhythm games and stuff. So it's a nice little area here in Tucson.
Yeah,
there's a Street
even
Fighter
I
6
have to
cabinet
admit
too.
that.
Sorry.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I was gonna say, even I have to admit, Tucson's got some great venues, some great food too. I'll give you guys that one. We had some Kiwami ramen after a tournament on Saturday, and really good stuff. Had some delicious plum wine, like rice wine. So that was super good.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys had an awesome launch tournament, birthday tournament. Happy belated birthday to you, Sean. So I wanted to get more talking about kind of Tekken 8 in general, and kind of what your guys' impressions are. Because I mean, you guys, I know Steven was kind of here and there with the closed beta, but now that the game is launched, I guess we'll start with Steven here. What are your launch impressions right now in terms of like characters? Like I mean, you could probably name like, maybe give me like your top 3 as of right now. I mean, I know it's super early, but like maybe your top 3 and just like your general like ideas of like, or just strong characters in general, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, let me just start by saying, I mean, right, I just started playing the game, right when it came out. It wasn't in any of the network tests, darn it. So it was kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't buy the game on launch because I kind of wanted to see how the netcode held up. Like I was just watching Twitch streams and seeing how people react, because if it was crappy, like you would know. And on the first day, it was a bit of a dumpster fire. There was some server issues. People couldn't play ranks. So I was holding off, but by the time the tournament came around, apparently they patched all of that, and I bought the game after the tournament and started playing online, and it actually does run really well. I played my friend Victor, who lives in Japan now. We just had a set the other day, and it was pretty good. So happy about that. But
Nice.
yeah, as far as character strength, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of called it. Azucena is really strong. I could tell the kind of character archetype she would be. So yeah, I mean, she's definitely one of the better characters right now. She takes good advantage of the heat systems. She's got a lot of like explosive moves, good pressure. That's safe right now. We'll see how it turns out once people, really lab the character. But right now, you can kind of get away with being super aggressive with her, because obviously no one knows how to deal with it until they've gotten hit by it. That's just the way the game works. Victor is also similar boat. He's I don't want to say like technical or not technical, but he does remind me of Noctis from Tekken 7 in some ways, where he has a lot of moves that are designed to be really simple. So John, like you'll remember when I taught you how to play Kunamitsu briefly, just to use like 3 different moves. You can sort of do that with Victor to start.
Ooh.
He's not super complicated in that way, but he's still really strong. He just has like this huge. So without getting too much into it, Victor's like this super spy assassin guy, and he has knives, guns, and he has sword. And like you can't parry any of those things; you have to block them. And the sword has like extremely long reach. Like how could it not? Right? It's like you're fighting Marth in Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like my man can just hit you from half screen if you're not blocking or you move the wrong way. He just whacks you with his sword. So yeah, he's a really strong character right now. But I was looking at some other tier lists from like pro players that have been playing a lot, and yeah, they have them up there, and then 1 or 2 of the Mishimas. I think Devil Jin is the scarier Mishima right now, but he's always like really strong at the beginning. He definitely shoots a lot of lasers and stuff out of his hands and his eyes, so that definitely helps. Like I think what we're finding out now is the tools that used to define what a good character was have kind of changed with the new systems. If a character has a gun, and you don't. I mean, that's actually a pretty good advantage, you know.
Yeah.
Very
Like,
realistic game. Yeah.
Steve's like great, you know, he can box and weave around.
At
At one point, he actually, I'm pretty sure in the story, I haven't finished it yet, but I believe he dodges bullets with just like his boxing moves.
Nice.
So
the sway.
That's how they balance it. He can sway around bullets. But yeah, I think
That's
those
awesome.
characters. Oh yeah, Nina is really strong. Also has guns.
Nina, okay.
But yeah, that's kind of it. You know, like those 4 or 3 characters I would say are up there right now.
I'm waiting for somebody to put a tier list up like that, like has guns and then does not have guns, has a sword. All right. What about you, Sean? Who are your early candidates for strong characters?
Oh, I really, really agree with Steve to the point, like, I mean, if you were to fast forward in this video, John, and just look at what 2 characters are in grand finals, it's gonna you're gonna see somebody who maybe has 3-bladed weapons, a gun, and secret agent boots, and also a girl who's addicted to coffee and caffeine. Like, it was Azucena and Victor in the grand finals, and I know that we kind of like when we were just sitting at casuals the night before on Friday, because that was like the time we could just dig in. Like there was a lot of just right away of, oh, there's some craziness going on, and even like so Project Runaway and I were both playing, and we were like talking about our characters, like kind of everybody, and just saying like, well, you know, we've kind of labbed some of these things that they're doing, and like the counterplay is really slim. Like normally a lot of when a new character comes out, the first thing you say is like, yeah, there's a lot of crazy gimmicks, there's a lot of like weird things going on, but I think it just needs to get labbed out first. But even with like some labbing and so I was looking at it, like it doesn't seem like a lot you can really do against it, because like Azucena has, I think, in my opinion, the best like running, like we call them slash kicks or just like running attacks, like her running 3-2, where she just runs, drills her knee into you and does a spinning back elbow. It's incredibly plus, it's incredibly fast, and it does a crazy amount of chip damage. And you can't normally you sidestep around stuff like that. She's gonna clip you for it. It's like she just gets
you just go in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, there is a little bit of counterplay. You can have a crazy read that she's gonna do it and then dash in and do like a single jab, because whenever a character is airborne and you hit them, it kind of starts them in like a combo state. So you have to just kind of like stand at and stare at the moving train and hope you can throw a penny on the tracks right before it gets you. It derails. That's like the mentality of trying to deal with this move. It's like, yeah, I got it right here, and if the penny falls off, then you get hit by it and you're dead. And like, yeah, just jump on everything Steve was saying. Like Victor is just very, very powerful, very evasive, because not only does he have all the like the arsenal, he also has teleports. Like this man's moving around like Akuma. He's a back teleport. He has a teleport straight up into the air into a big dive, like super evasive. I've been, you know, playing a good chunk of ranked in some online tournaments. I would say those 2 are definitely very strong. Like some of the characters that were in the beta that people were saying were very strong, like Jin, and now I feel like the opinion is turning around on Ling Xiaoyu being a little bit over to like compared to how she's ever been historically. Ling is very strong with, you know, the changes to her stances and the pressure that she has. So I think they're like very strong, but I don't think the rest of the cast is far behind. Like I don't think we have a Ken JP sort of situation where these 2 characters are dominating. Like, you know, that huge 300-man tournament, top 8 was Nina, King, and Asuka, and, you know, some others, but like, you know, the classics. And we're figuring out, like, we're learning the basics of just like the changes to the characters themselves, but there hasn't been that much exploration into how far can we push this heat system. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, you know, before, you know, when that Tekken 6 or the Street Fighter 6 open beta came out and everyone's finally got their hand on the drive meter, like, okay, what can we really, like, can we use this for? Or what should we be using it for? Like, am I just going to be doing some, you know, burning it all just to do, like, putting myself in burnout to do one combo that's just going to do like 10% more damage? Or can I just set up insane pressure and just really, really just bully somebody with it? And so I think that's going to really help a lot of characters out who seem initially kind of weak, that their heat system helps them out a lot. But I gotta say, I love this game. I think it's so, so amazing to play. It's so fun. I cannot stop thinking about it, talking about it, enjoying it. I like really don't have any big complaints or like anything. You know, the net code was broken. If you tried to rematch, it would crash your game, and that was
that's
a
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I was hearing to say
it
I saw
was
some stuff
it was
today.
unusable on launch day.
Okay.
So I kind of saved myself the headache on that. I just watched everyone on Twitch.
Well,
and
welcome to modern gaming, right?
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but I am glad that they actually addressed it relatively quickly. So I guess they were aware of it because they put out a patch pretty soon.
Nice.
I also have it on my Steam Deck, and I tried that before I played it on my like beefy PC, ironically, and it actually runs perfectly well local play. There was also an issue with the Steam Deck where it would just DC in ranked matches, like in online matches. But I believe there was either a hotfix, or if you have a Steam Deck, you'll know this, but you can switch the Proton compatibility layer version from the interface. And I believe there was a new one that fixed that. So now you can actually play it online. I haven't gotten to test it yet. But yeah, just piggybacking off what Sean said first about the balance and the systems is it's really exciting. Like this is kind of the best time for any fighting game, this new discovery period, because you know, more or less everyone's on the same footing. Obviously, you know, people have like experience with previous Tekkens, this, that, and the other, and some people played the closed, you know, betas, other people didn't. I played the initial alpha in Japan, and so I do always love to go back to this. This is kind of why, well, it's not why, but it's one of the things I remember before I left Twitter, Benny, is like, I played the game, right? I played the alpha at Evo Japan, and I was like, gameplay wise, I was like, this is amazing. Like this game is so fun. The graphics are way ahead of any other fighting game, like full stop. I saw it with my own eyes. The loading times were amazing. But I'm not like a big content creator, so I kind of just like kept some mental notes in my head. And then I went on my way, and you know, everyone at Evo Japan, there was like some nice buzz about it. But then like I remember when I came home and I like saw like Twitter, everyone was, you know, making their reaction pieces about like the trailers and what they saw, and they were so worried about, you know, I think this doesn't work. Yeah, this heat system is going to be busted, and people kept saying like, oh, they took there was some insane takes. I think someone said that like they took sidestep out of the game from like a 5-second clip of someone doing heat or something. They like that's what they gleaned from it. But like, yeah, right. Who am I to like yell into the void and be like, no, I think you're wrong. But yeah, a lot of people were telling me how the game was, even though I had played it. So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, after the closed beta tests and getting to play the full game, all of those positive attributes like carry over to the final game, like the way it feels and looks and sounds, how responsive it is, how fast it loads. Like it's all really quality work. You can tell that the budget was put to good use in this game. I mean, if you buy the game or you just watch someone play it, like the menu screen is just a black background and Kazuya's game model, and he's just looking at you. And if you turn the graphics up, like it just looks like you're looking at a CG character from a movie where like he has skin shaders. You can see all of his muscles. They like ripple. His eye glows with the devil gene, and it like, you know, it glows in the darkness. You know what I mean? So that's like the first thing you see when the game comes on. So they're really just flexing like the engine right in front of you. And it doesn't stop. Like when you start playing the game, you notice all these nice like visual touches and everything. And then in the gameplay itself, sort of to get to what Sean was saying about heat, we're still like early learning how the system works. There's so many system changes that even a player like myself, you know, I kind of got pretty lucky even in the first tournament of that. Like, you know, I played a character that's been in the games in second 4, and his combo routes have been adjusted in every game slightly, but like I can basically do the same combos I've been doing for, you know, a couple of years and still get a good amount of damage. Like that took me to 4th place in the tournament, more or less, that and just like basic knowledge.
Yeah.
But even while I was playing, I literally was learning new things, like about how the system worked. Like you can't step, throws are just stronger, like full stop. They used to be very easy to avoid, very easy to break, but now the game forces you to deal with them in a way that you never had to. Also, every character has like multiple command throws now, and they made the inputs easier. So like all of those like small things just change the pace of the game, the flow of the game. And there's like certain things that are like counters to moves that didn't exist in previous games. Like in the previous game, you could try to parry an attack, right? Like if you're Asuka, she throws out the big parry and grabs your leg and throws you.
Yeah.
In this game, if they just sit there and do like an idiot and just stay and wait for you to attack them, you can just throw them and your throw becomes unbreakable. You just toss them, free damage. So it's like things like that are crazy. And then when you think about that, and then you think about a character like King, who is the grappler, and they gave him even more ways to initiate throws, like I can already see that becoming like really strong for him. Like you're gonna have to break those throws, guys. Like you're not getting away from this. The only option is to duck. And if you start doing that, you're opening yourself up to pain somewhere else. So yeah, it's super exciting, like just learning all these new things about the game at this point.
And they feel so well thought out too, in terms of like the balance, and like now throws have a real strong purpose with that they can not just beat parries, but beat armor. But also armor is really like armor moves kind of you didn't see them too often previously, but now they're very, very powerful. And there's like a feedback loop of, well, because armor is really strong in this game, throws have to be really strong in this game. Because throws are really strong in this game, then like, big attacks have to be strong in this game. It's like the, I guess to bring it into the perspective, like Street Fighter 6, like people complain about like throw loops are really strong. They're like throws are super strong, but they have to be super strong because drive parry is so super strong. And so, and like Tekken 8, there's this the big thing that a lot of people are using heat for. Like at the beginning of the round, you have the whole bar full, and there's only two ways that you can, start using that bar. One is by landing one of your character's like 5 signature moves, which is like a heat engager. You do that, the screen flashes, and they like, so you see them like booking it and run right into their their face. They are ultra mega plus, and they are standing right there, and they have the full chunk of butter to use. The other way that's ends up being like how you see it every single round is a new technique called the heat burst. And the heat burst is a very quick and very safe armor move that it's an attack, and it's kind of like DI if DI didn't have as much of a reward. You throw it out, you're being pressured, you're kind of scared, like you don't want to die with your full meter, so you have to use it. You just press this button and boom, you get them off of you potentially, and you're plus a little bit, +2, which is very not plus in Tekken, because the range of like if your quickest punish is 10 frames, then anywhere from -1 to -9 is different degrees of being, like minus. So you're a little plus, but it's such a good move to do because it's just, hey, it's my turn back. I got to stop you. But there are counters to it. Like throws beating power crushes is so huge because now you have a way to like bait we have burst baiting now. Welcome to Guilty Gear Cross Tekken. I really know that somebody's like really feeling the heat in a defensive situation. Instead of going for, a big plus move or a jab or something very quick, I'm just going to start like doing a lot of throws, because if I see that little screen flash, the animation will still play, and they're like, vamos! And like get ready to do the attack, and then King just grabs me by the neck and just starts flinging me all over the place. Like it's so awesome that there's these really strong techniques, but there's also really strong counterplay that has its roots in the Tekken system that has been around for forever, because throws have been around for forever, but now it's just good. There's situations that you want to actually use them instead of just like, we just use them to beat up players who are new to the game because they can't break throws, right? That's always kind of the stigma before.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like, you know, King was like the perfect example. Like I remember playing my friend like when the first Tekkens came out. He'd do like the chain grabs, and I'm just like, how the hell do I get out of this, right? And like you play seasoned vets that play those kind of characters, and you know those are the knowledge checks in Tekken, I would say. Was like the chain grabs. Does this person know how to tech? Does this person know how to get out of this situation? If not, you know, I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and they can still be used like that, but you just have so much more like utility. So many systems that were like abandoned and just like so whatever. You don't have to like care. Like pros don't use throws. You know, pros aren't doing like all these like. And I love that in the end of like Tekken 7, we saw a difference to that. Like a lot of people were using throws. Arslan Ash hit generic throws in the Tekken World Tour final against people, which was awesome to see.
That was pretty
cool.
Yeah, I know that's something that like John's talked about too. It's kind of like this like cycle, right? Like you get like, if you think about like DI, right? Like DI at the beginner level is like, man, this is stupid, right? And then you kind of get to this kind of like mid-level play where everybody's like looking for it and they counter it, and then you get to the high-level play and it's just like, why the hell would he DI right there, right? And then it just comes through. You know, and it's like, you know, now all of a sudden I'm godlike, right? Whereas you know, as a beginner, like, oh, that was a scrubby DI, but you know, it's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
But, the other thing I was thinking of in Tekken, so there's two things that were implemented in the game that weren't in recent games, which is the replay. What do you guys call it in the game?
Replay takeover. Oh my gosh,
that's the X factor. That's the X factor of Tekken 8. I think like if this game had one mission statement, one of the main ones is definitely don't change the identity of the game, but allow people to discover its identity for themselves.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because Tekken 8 is not like a simple game. Like, no, we're not going to lie to you. Like the meme is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's just a tough game. There's a lot of stuff. There's 35 characters, you know, each one has 100 moves or something or whatever. But if you can get over the fact that, like, yes, you don't know anything yet, and you can get to the point of like, but I'm having fun learning, I think you're going to like actually love this game, because I've always kind of thought of Tekken as like a learning simulator. There's just so much stuff that like you always have to learn something new or relearn something. But in the old games, there was, you know, back in the day, they didn't even have a good training mode, like let alone recordings or replays. So you know, shout out to the people that actually got good at the old Tekkens, like just at home and in the arcade. That's insane. Especially before frame data and stuff. But like now, I think there was enough. I think Harada got the message right, where before in Tekken 7, on launch, it didn't even have frame data in the game. That was added later on as DLC, and people were not happy about that, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But now they've taken that message and they've gone the next step. So even in Tekken 7, in the later years of the game, there was a recording function. So you play a match online or offline and it just saves it. Basically, it would save your inputs and you can look through them. Now, there was a system in the game that I don't know if it was like early AI type routine or something, but it was able to explain to you at certain branch situations where a move happens and there's different things you can do. It can tell you if you didn't take the right choice. So, for example, if you block a move and it's unsafe on block and you can punish it, like say in Street Fighter, somebody does like a super heavy, somebody does a sweep and you block it. The game would be like, hey, you can sweep him back, you know, if you forgot it. And it will pause and it will tell you that. It will tell you the button to do your sweep and all that stuff. And it would also, if I hit someone up in the air, it's a little bit different in Street Fighter, because in Street Fighter, certain combos, I guess, can be situational depending on like spacing and everything. But in Tekken, if you hit someone up in the air, they're in a launch state and you can do a combo. The game, Tekken 7, would say, hey, try this combo. And it would just give you an example of what to do for your character specifically, which was super helpful. And this is as someone that knows all my characters' combos, because the game knows things that you can't see
Yeah.
So it'll be like, for example, like in Street Fighter, if you were fighting like Sagat, I know he used to be like, he was tall, right? So you could get like a big, you could do a deep jump in, and then like, his hitbox would get bigger, and then you have more more time to do like a bigger combo on him. So in Tekken, certain characters can be smaller, and maybe you try to do a certain combo and part of it will drop because that character, just their hurt box is over here.
Yeah.
The game will just tell you a shorter combo because it was like, it's aware of that fact, and it will actually give you something that's consistent, which I think is really important because you don't want to miss your combos, right?
Yeah.
And that was in Tekken 7. It was very useful, but I guess some people used it, but I don't think even then. And it also had punishment training, which was very helpful. But I think some people used it, but not to the fullest extent. Now in Tekken 8, they've taken it to the next level with the recording takeover. So now, remember when I said in 7 it would pause and tell you a combo that you could do, or pause and tell you a punish you could do?
Yeah.
Now the game will allow you just press a button and it says, would you like to take control? And similar to, I believe it's in Guilty Gear XR, or sorry, one of the Guilty Gears.
That's what I heard too.
Plus R, yeah.
Plus R, thank you. You just take control of your character, and the computer just repeats the inputs of your opponent. So if you launch them in the air, you can try the combo it suggested, or you could do your own. Like, you could literally try whatever you want. I was doing this the other night. I'm just trying to optimize combos for this weird situation that I got into that I can see in the recording, but there's no way I'm going to recreate that in training mode. Like, you could do it, but why waste the time? It's right there. And this is for every ranked match, every offline match. And it'll do the same thing with punishment. It'll tell you, like, this is how you punish this move that you blocked. Or it'll tell you this string had a high and you didn't duck it. You should duck it. And I can just practice that over and over again. I can rewind and do it like 100 times and just start to memorize it. So it literally becomes a learning simulator. You could just go online, play ranks, get absolutely bodied. It doesn't matter because you can just look at all your replays later and improve on every single mistake you made. You can just go fix it at your own pace. And the game tells you how to do it. And like I said, if you're really creative, you can use those situations and just have them recreate these strange situations that only, like, say you're playing a Mishima player. They're very complicated technical characters. Like, there's a lot of like wave dashing and moving across the screen. It's hard to do that. But if I want to practice against it, like, what do I do? Like, if I want to have to deal with that, like, wave dash timing that this one guy that was on crack that I was playing was doing, like, couldn't quite get his timing. Well, I have the replay saved, so I can just have them do it over and over again until I figure out the exact way I want to deal with it at my own pace. So it's perfect for learning if you're new to the game, or if you're a veteran and you're trying to, like, get the most out of your training sessions. And I think that alone, not to mention the training mode itself is just better, makes it so that if you care about this game at all or you want to try it, just play the game and have a little bit of patience and just try it, and it will give you the tools you need to really unlock the potential of the game and just start to enjoy it on your own terms. So
that's awesome, because, like, I was kind of on the fence about whether I wanted to buy the game. Like, I downloaded the demo, I still haven't played it yet, but I wanted to give it a shot. But, like, you basically almost, like, sold me on it just because of that. Because, like, I remember when I saw, like, the trailer or the clip for it showing that, like, that to me is, like, exactly what I'm looking for. Because, like, there's times in Street Fighter where, like, even if I win a round, right, I look back and, like, I look at I local record pretty much, like, everything when I play ranked matches, and then I go back and I look at it, right? And I'm like, at this point, I could have done this combo instead, burned some meter, and I could have killed. And I've even, like, posted some of that stuff, like, on my Instagram. Like, this would have been better for me to do, right? And, like, if I could just jump in the game and not have to, set that up in training mode and be like, okay, I'm going to knock this guy down. I need him to do this on wake up, or I need this to happen. Like, if I could just jump into that same replay and just be like, all right, let me take over here. Okay, let me try some things now and see if I can get the kill. Like, man, that would save me so much more time. And like you said, it's going to accelerate learning, how to deal with situations. I think that whole thing what you just talked about, like there was a high in the string and you missed an opportunity. Like that's fucking amazing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the kind of like knowledge stuff that, you know, you would have to go in the lab and be like, what? I didn't know that this does this, or this whiffs on me at this point. And the game's like, you know what? You missed this opportunity. Here's how you can deal with it.
I think it's a
so much. Sorry, John, go ahead.
It's a huge step forward for the genre in that way. Like obviously Plus R had it first, but like Tekken is the first mainstream game to incorporate it, and like because this genre is notoriously difficult to pick up. I think we can all agree on that, just from the outsider perspective of like, hey, fighting games are hard, and I can't touch that. They're busy playing League of Legends or some shit, which is arguably harder in a lot of ways. But they're like, fighting games are hard, right? And so there was always been like these like different band-aid solutions to try to fix that. And I feel like this is like the latest evolution of that, where like initially it was like, you know what, these games are really hard. Street Fighter 2, what would really help is if we could have a training mode. And then from then on, like there was just all this development around training mode, but it still wasn't enough for the average person, because they were like, oh no, what these games really need is a tutorial. And then everyone started putting tutorials in the games, and those were boring and nobody actually uses them. So then now it's like there's been another evolution here where it's like, oh, I want the game to teach me how to play while I'm playing it, and this is that essentially this replay jump in system, or the take control system, assuming direct control, you know.
Super it's funny you mentioned the training mode stuff, because like a lot of that stuff is like, you know, I mean, I guess to us it seems basic, but it like, to me, like it was almost insulting in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the basic training mode stuff, it was like walk forward, press left to walk back and block. You know, hold down to block this low attack or whatever. And it's just like, come on, guys! Like, where do I get to the stuff that I really need to know? But then you kind of get into this, or at least for like the beginner players, they get kind of, you know, I don't know. I think some people would find it insulting, or it kind of like almost like cookie cutter stuff, and it's just like, this isn't the kind of stuff that you need to like understand. Like there's a whole nother layer of things that, you know, it's like trial by fire, and it's just like the replay takeover, I guess is what it's called. That's like trial by fire, but on my own terms. So it's like, yeah, I can go online and I can get my ass kicked, but you know what, I'm gonna go see what this guy did, and you know, what kind of gimmicks is he pulling on me, so that, you know, this doesn't happen again.
The vast majority of time that you spend labbing is not actually coming up with the solution. It's setting up the situation. And like, so that's why training mode gets this shitty reputation, where it's like, you know, did you lab this yet? I haven't done that yet. I'd rather play. And people don't ever grow from labbing, because it's a pain in the ass to set up a lot of these situations in every fighting game. So the fact that the game is doing it for you, you immediately start just, you know, you can solve the problem as opposed to having to recreate it, which is fantastic. Such a time saver. That's super cool.
It's so big, because Tekken really is the worst.
Go ahead, Sean.
Tekken is the worst offender of trying to recreate any situation in the training mode, because if I have never played against Yoshimitsu, put your hands up in the air, it's going to be every Tekken player ever. I've never played against Yoshimitsu before. He has 200 moves, because he has so many different stances. And I don't want to go through every single move on the move list and go like, did the move look like this? No, it was like, I can't remember what leg he kicked with, and then he got the sword out. It's so difficult to try to recreate it. And like, also my side was up against this wall, so I couldn't sidestep there. So is there any way that I can set the, you know, train or set the lobby up so that when I hit the reset button, because I missed the punish, they go, no, it's every single time I have to walk him over here. Now I hit the pause menu, now tell him to do the attack, and I messed up because my dog was barking and I didn't like try the punish. So it's not even worth it. I'm not even gonna try to do it. So it's such a huge feature, and it's also becoming like something communal based, because in the Tucson Tekken Discord, like we're talking about, you know, getting together for our casuals on Friday.
Oh shit.
There's so many people that are talking about like, I'm just going to bring my setup And there's like 5 or 6 different matches that I have, because you can also bookmark any.
Yeah, you could share the
matches.
replays. Oh my
god,
god,
share the replays. So we're gonna be doing communal match replays of looking at like
tight. Oh my god, that's so cool.
I have 6 different people that I'm looking forward to. Like they told me I got my butt kicked by Dragunov, and this guy was like doing this crazy stuff, and I didn't know how to deal with the pressure. And instead of me like going into the training mode and try to like guess what he was having issues with, let's pull up the replay. And I'm going to have you take control. You're going to have like 3 or 4, like 5 times to just try to figure out what to do in this situation. I'm going to watch you do it. And then I'm going to take the controller and I'll show you what I would have done. And that's going to provide a whole lot of insight because maybe, you know, not necessarily what I'm doing is the right thing or what you're doing is the right thing. But a lot of times there's so many situations like I had no idea I could even try to sidestep here or try to parry or sabaki or power crush or do something like having multiple minds to it is so awesome. Like, yes, playing the game is so awesome. And all I want to do is sit here and play the game with everybody. But I'm really looking forward to sitting here, like sitting with a couple of the newer players and like just going through their replays with them and watching it. Yeah. It's so cool. Cause I don't know how to play like a lot of these characters they're having issues against, but I know what I would have done in that situation. And let me show you that if it works, instead of me just sitting around the table at the, like sitting at, you know, Borders and eating quesadillas and saying like, no, you gotta sidestep left duck that. And it's a fuzzy timing. And like, okay, I don't know what those words mean. And also I don't see like how that would help. So just like, no, look. And that's like why I think Steve was also talking about the Steam Deck. And I think this is the greatest companion to learning Tekken 8 as well, because it runs so great and it syncs all of your matches and all of your recordings to it. So when I'm sitting there, like, I don't know, waiting at the doctor's office or just waiting to get on, like there's a long line, we're at casuals and, you know, there's a line for the setup. I could just have this and just look at a couple, you know, just do replay takeover right here. And it's so, because, you know, like you said, setting up the scenarios is the longest part. So having the scenarios ready that I can just jump right into, that the second, you know, my Steam Deck is always in permanent rest mode with Tekken 8 running, that I just, okay, press the button. It takes less than 30 seconds to load in, because Steve said earlier, loading super fast. Load in, get to the round, and then reenact the scenario. Like, oh, okay, I know that now.
All right, see, now I'm waiting for John to pitch me something, because Steven sold me on Tekken 8. You're about to sell me on a Steam Deck. So what do you got? No, I'm just kidding, John.
Gotta get the hitbox, man. I don't know if you got hitbox.
Yeah, actually, I won't joke. That's like the next level gamer stuff. Because at the end of Tekken 7, right? I could go grab it, but yeah, I actually got the Steam Deck OLED. I upgraded because it's
just really
cool. Yeah, it's super sick, dude. It's
nice,
anyway,
nice.
So I got a Steam Deck and I got a hitbox towards the end of Tekken 7, and I was like, you know what? Dude. Let me just be efficient. And I was like, I saw into the future, because now I have, you know, the most optimal or ergonomic like controller, and a lot of things in Tekken that used to give you a little bit of trouble, like execution wise. I don't even really think about it. Like my mindset is different now, where it's like, if I got hit by something, it's because I just made the wrong decision. It's not that I couldn't do the block or the move. I can do it. It's not that hard. So we're past that barrier. And then I had the Steam Deck, which was like, I always kind of like joke about this. I don't own a PS4. Like I don't have a console. So like the entirety of Tekken 7, I just trained on my computer. And so like having the PC version, it came over to my Steam Deck. So then instead of, you know, carrying my laptop or my computer with me to casuals, I can just bring that. And then I could also bring it with me to tournaments, like when I'm traveling and stuff. And I could be, you know, in the library or whatever, reading a book, and then be like, wait a minute, I just thought of how I could punish Jack 7. Turn it on and just go into training mode and just, and then I'll write it down later. And since it's also a computer, when I go to like when I do tournaments and stuff at home, I just have it as a second screen. So that has like Discord and my notes and everything. So it's like the most compact and efficient way to like have all the information and the ability to play the game with me whenever I need it. Like it's the most convenient possible solution.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess the other feature that I was thinking of also that they introduced was the ghost. So basically, from what my understanding is, I want to say I think it was a Virtua Fighter game that did that first. Maybe it was a different fighting game, but I think it was Virtua Fighter that did Ghost first, where basically the game will kind of track people's tendencies, right? Like a player's tendencies. Does this guy like to sweep a lot? Does he grab 80% of the time? You know, do those kind of things, and it'll basically kind of create a profile for you that people can basically go and download, right? Like they can look up Will Get Paid and be like, oh, this is that Steve guy that's been kicking my ass, right? I want to play against, you know, his ghost, and then they can, you know, download your ghost or whatever and play against it, and you know, play kind of the way that you do, I guess, is, you know, the best interpretation possible. Or what's the fighting game term? X copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you guys had a chance to mess with that at all yet?
Yeah.
Or what are your guys' kinds of impressions on that so far?
It's pretty sick. That's actually it was kind of like a head start, like cheat code to kind of seeing what was up in the game, right? Because now I didn't know that you could share replays like that, but I did know that you could download anyone's ghost that's been playing ranked. So like you can't hide your tendencies. Like if you play the game online, if you want to be Mr. Number One on the ranked boards, then we can all download your ghost and practice against your style of that character. Yeah. So immediately, like within a day, I went and just looked on the ladders, and I saw some of the top players from America and Europe and Asia. And I downloaded one of them just so I could learn a little bit more about Victor. There's this guy named Double. He's this really good Japanese law player, but he's just a super top tier player. So he's like, well, I'm just going to play Victor. And automatically, like, he was just like the top Victor. He was figuring out stuff that like no one's figured out yet and abusing the really abusable moves, right? So I've been playing as Ghost. I played it for like an hour once I unlocked the ability to like use them. And it's interesting because it both adapts to what you're doing, but it does use things from the user's ghost, like the player's ghost. Data. So it copies your signature playstyle down to your individual movement tendencies, because
really
at high level Tekken, it's something that you don't notice until you don't know until you know. But like people do what's called fuzzy ducking and sidestep blocking and crouching very quickly to block lows at different timings. And if you're looking for it, you can actually see it. And immediately when I was playing the ghost of Double playing Victor, I was just moving, and in certain ranges, I saw him like doing these crouches, like putting them into his movement. And that's a signature high level tactic in the neutral.
Okay.
And that's how I was like, wow. And I saw where he was doing it, and I could keep playing him over and over again and seeing like, where does he like to do his fuzzy timing against, I guess, my character, because in order to get to that rank, I assume he's played a multitude of the cast, right? So it's probably based on who you're playing as well. And then also he was just doing moves that were like super annoying, and I had to figure out how to deal with them, like I had to deal with it. And in doing that, I learned a lot about Victor. I was like, oh, so you can do this against this move, or like this move is really good because if he hits you with it, he's super advantageous, and I can see it. That's the important thing in Tekken, is everyone loves to parrot about like frame data that they've read and like don't even know what the moves look like. But at the end of the day, it's a video game. So like you have to visually store what a move looks like and then your response to it. And in playing the Ghost, I can do that without even like, I didn't even know, aside from the limbs that he was using to do the attacks, I didn't know the notations of all the moves, but I did find out counters to them while I was playing.
I'm extremely intrigued by this Ghost system because, like, so when I heard Ghost, I was like, oh, it's like Mario Kart, where like, like it just records the track, it traces the path that the opponent's cart went on, and then you kind of race against that. But fundamentally, it's a static thing where it's running a replay essentially. This is something like where it's controlled by the AI, and I'm going to use AI again pretty soon here. It's controlled by the in-game AI, and then it just kind of feeds in little signature traits, right, Steven? That's kind of how you described it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think a good way to think of it, if you've maybe not, but if you ever played Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon, Microsoft actually has this thing. It's called the Drivatar. And it is that it's the super version of like, yeah, your opponent drove their car, like their Mazda Miata or whatever, at this speed around this track. But like once it records enough of their races, it just makes a profile of how they drive the car.
Yeah.
So when you're racing against them, like an example is someone who's very aggressive and bumps into other cars. You notice that they do that to you, even though that's not necessarily what they did in that particular race. So it copies their traits and their tendencies, is what I like to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, if it was going to be like an evolution of the Mario Kart Ghost, it's like, instead of just, it would be like, is this person aggressive with like shells or whatever? Or does he drift a lot? Or does he, I don't know, some of the things, the hops or whatever, those kind of things. That's what I was thinking of.
So that's kind of where I'm going, where it's like they're recording stuff, right? And so the only input that we provide, like as far as like what our style is are the replay inputs. And so this has got to be like an actual AI thing where they're probably feeding a bunch of replays and inputs into a machine learning algorithm. And then it's just generating 100%. It's generating these like the fact that it can adapt in real time, like it's probably just tying in with its existing like CPU, CPU opponents, like in arcade mode and stuff.
Yeah, that's making me think about like, what would my ghost be like? And I'm just like, he would throw out like heavy buttons a lot. He'd probably do bad teleports. He'd fireball at bad spacings.
It copies so much. There was a huge viral clip that was going around on the first day of release of a well-known player, Fergus, who was doing, playing against his ghost and training it to like, okay, after you do this, like after I do the sweep, I'm a toxic player. I'm going to start teabagging. And then he got hit by his ghost doing that sweep, and the ghost started going, and he was like, whoa, I've trained a monster.
You know what, man? I just realized too, the last time that I saw a system like this was in Super Smash Brothers 4. Smash 4, right? And you know who developed that game?
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, Bandai Namco developed that game. I wouldn't be surprised if they're reusing the system, or they've obviously like evolved it a lot, because you're feeding like millions and millions of replays into these systems to like try to formulate this style. It seems like it's an evolution of that fighter doll thing from Smash 4. That's crazy.
It's so awesome, and it's not like a lot of times when you play against CPUs, you just kind of are feeling like, it ducked this low, but it ducked the low because it's reading my inputs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cheating. The CPU is cheating. The Super Ghost does not feel like it is cheating at all. It really does genuinely feel like it is reacting to like both my tendencies as the opponent and what the ghost was programmed on. Like, it's not just seeing my tendencies, but it's seeing how I react to certain characters. Like, I was playing against my Super Ghost, and Azucena, when she wants to mix you up, she's gonna go into her back turns. Yeah, she's gonna turn her back, and it's gonna be a scary mid or a scary low. And like normally, you just go into doing the mix-up move. But when I do play online or in tournament or anywhere, I'll go into back turn and I'll see if my opponent is fuzzy ducking, what Steve was saying earlier. Maybe they'll block low really quick because the low comes out a little sooner, and then they'll stand up because the mid's a little bigger and slower. And like my ghost AI was like reacting to me fuzzy ducking and changing its timing to like something that it's never hit me with, changing its timing, did a backdash backwards to hop towards me to call out the fuzzy ducking, and then just blew me up afterwards. Like, it's not just knows what I would do, but it's like looking, and in the match, it's looking at its opponents and determining their defensive tendencies as well. It's not like super duper mega genius. Like, it's about, kind of trying to be on parity with the player that it's taking, the inspiration and fighting style from. But it is really like crazy because, you play against CPU battles normally in Tekken, they just do the move. There's no there's no timing. There's no changing of timing. There's no changing in how like they're moving in reaction to your moving or trying to get away from counter hit tools. But the Super Ghost does this. Like, it knows that, okay, when a Mishima is wave dashing at me, I have a tendency to try to, like, when the Mishima goes down, my character is kind of like I'm also ducking a little bit because I'm trying to like get the timing for when they're going to do the hell sweep. And when they go up, I'm trying to get the timing for when they're going to do the big axe kick. Because I watch my replays against like other Mishima players, and as they're wave dashing at me, I'm back dashing and my cadence is kind of matching them. And that's only against Mishima players. And I was watching my Ghost do the same thing going against a Mishima player, was like wave dashing right in their face. Like, okay, it's going to match.
There's matchup specific. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's so good. It's really, really so good. Yeah, and I would play it so much more if I wasn't so in love with just playing the game and like playing ranked and just playing everybody. But it's really, really awesome. It's a dope feature. And I like replay takeover is definitely taking the spotlight, but the Ghost battle, the super, it's super for a reason. The super Ghost battle should not be like left in the dark. It's really good.
Man, I hope Namco doesn't have a patent on that.
Bring it to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome. And because like the other side of it is like we're talking about it at launch here, but like people's styles are going to change too. So the Ghost is going to have to adapt. So we'll probably revisit this in a couple months and be like, hey, are they still accurate?
Right.
Yeah. Have you guys fought your own Ghosts yet?
I haven't fought mine yet. I need to. I'm afraid it's just gonna be like mashing buttons, and I'll be like,
I don't want to look to see what's in the. It's a true mirror match, man. You're scared of what you see in the mirror.
I really do just mash back one.
Steve's just gonna be like yelling at it, like, "What are you doing?"
Right? Why would you press there? Yeah. I'm not. I don't want to stare into the void and have it look.
Yeah. Everyone will play their own Ghost, and they'll be like, "Never mind, the system isn't that accurate."
Yeah, it's not.
But Sean, you said you played your Ghost?
I have, and like Steve maybe isn't as strong in this department as I am, but I goof around with a lot of characters as well, especially towards the tail end of 7. I was playing about like 14 different characters goofing around, and I've always wondered, like, would my Marduk beat my Katarina? I think so, but I don't really know. But it creates a goat, like a super Ghost like profile for each of your characters. And it's not just like trying to like take your inputs as Steve and like, well, I'm just going to extrapolate that onto if I was playing Jack or something. No, it makes us, a separate, you can like look at Shaundude Azucena, Shaundude Lily, Shaundude Raven, Shaundude Paul, like, and have them, and battle against those different types of styles and kind of have you realize some of the weaknesses just in the way that you're playing that, like, when I don't normally play Paul, but because he was the character in the demo and I played so much Paul, I played the demo like constantly, like 50 hours just doing Paul stuff, having fun with it. And like now realizing that my defense against Paul was not very strong because the Paul Ghost of Shaundude was doing really deep dashes and getting right in my face and doing the big scary sweep. And I'm just like sitting there petrified, like, I can't believe like this is still me. But it's me from another universe if I mained a different character or something. It's so cool. It really is a cool system.
See, now you have to think about the time when you get to like a tournament and then like somebody beats you and they're just like, "Man, you got better." It's just like, "Yeah, I downloaded your Ghost last week."
100%.
What?
Yeah, that's
why I immediately went to the top players because I was like, all right, let's see what the Japanese, the Koreans, the European players, and our top players are doing. Let's just find out right now. Why wait until the tournament and then have everyone be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe Victor has a gun. I didn't see that." Nope. Just get shot now and then figure out how to deal with it later.
Yeah.
So you know how like politically, like right now everyone's worried that AI is going to take their jobs. Esports competitors, this is kind of AI taking their jobs.
Yeah, right.
Like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to attend the tourney, Sean. I can't be in Tucson, but can you please download my Ghost and put him in?
Register it? Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna have the Benny Ghost coming in, high seed, obviously.
Well, just wait for this Tekken World Tour at the end after whoever Arslan or Nee wins. Just the doors are gonna open up. And then, Deep Blue is going to come out and it's going to say, "Oh, you think you're good, huh? We got all your recordings, bozo. Try to beat this. Otherwise, you don't get any prize money." That's going to be the final boss.
This might turn into like virtual cockfighting, dude. Like, can you put two ghosts against each other and like it'd be like the equivalent of playing with your action figures and making like slamming them together and making dinosaur noises?
I don't know.
You should do that.
I gotta take that'd be awesome. Yeah, I would love to see from a third like perspective of like.
I bet you there's some weird like fifth dimensional way to do it if you have like 2 games of like parsec and then like set like somehow put your recording to be player 1 for the other game. There's got to be a way.
You heard it here first on the Absolute Guard podcast. This is the evolution of Salty Bet.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love Salty Bet.
Or like the ultimate fighting game narcissist exercise of being like, I'm gonna watch myself playing myself while I'm watching my like I don't know. Yeah. I don't.
Then I gotta clip that and I gotta put that out for content and just like
yeah, that's I played myself. Here's what happened.
It's cool. I actually was sitting like playing really late night, like doing some ranked, and then somebody who was at the tournament, somebody like who's kind of like new to Tekken. It's like Orange, aka Steve, aka Japanese Steve from Tucson. He just posted it in the general chat, GG's at Shaundude, and it was a screen cap of him beating up my like Azucena wearing my hat and like coat and everything, and I was like, am I so tired that we ran a set? I totally forgot, and he fleeced me 3 straight rounds, and I was like, oh, all right, well, GG's. And then looking at it later, like, wait a second, this is my ghost. What the heck? Like, people are downloading my ghost to get the download on me, so at casuals they're gonna money match me or something. What the? I gotta download everybody's ghost. Y'all ain't getting away from me.
We're gonna see a rise in so many like fake and burner accounts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what if you go on your main account and you just play completely different, but then you have your Smurf account, and this is where you're playing legit, and like nobody knows who you are. You're just like, there's this Azucena player that I don't know, but they're really good, and then you use your main to throw people off.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be subterfuge for sure. I mean, obviously, if you don't want your latest stuff before tournament, you just play player match against your friends or something, and then I don't know. I don't know if it records from player match, but I'm sure people will find some way to game the system. Oh, it does? Good.
Yeah, you just have to make a new Steam account family share style, or just change your name. Like, okay, so here's 3 incredibly talented top-level players. JDCR, Anakin, and Joey Fury. Some of the best, absolute best. Anakin's name on, in Tekken, his Tekken ID is not Anakin. It's, something, it's one of his StarCraft burner names. It's Toxic Man. JDCR's name is TK Anakin, and then Joey Fury's name is not Anakin.
That's awesome.
It's like trying to like, I'm just trying to download your ghost, man, and beat you up, but you out here doing all this side stuff, and like, yeah, if I really want to go hidden and start playing a new character or something, I will go on to the Steam account that has all them risque Japanese games on it and family shared Tekken 8 and start playing there. Y'all will never know. I got no friends on that account.
I had an idea too, where you know when you talk with somebody else who plays the same character as you, and then they have a different way of approaching the character, they use different tools or whatnot, and you're like, man, if only we could like Voltron our characters together, and we would be like the ultimate player because you would cover all my weaknesses. You could do that by having everybody share an account and then play that same character online, and then the AI will merge everybody together for you, and you can just mimic how that guy plays or that AI plays, and then
Operation
you will all become...
Hydra.
Yeah, that sounds like a legit way to practice too. That it's funny, but like that seems very efficient.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the new ways people decide to use these tools, like what Sean was saying about sharing the replays and stuff. That's really interesting to me. I want to try that with like our team and our scene, and it's just nice to have functioning netcode and crossplay. Finally, this is the first Tekken with crossplay. So I was playing someone on PlayStation. That's there's a lot of PlayStation players, so I don't always get to play them. I didn't get to play them in Tekken 7 all the time, but now we can just run a set first to infinity and then just look at our replays later. Don't even have to try to break things down during the match itself.
Yeah, I love what Sean was talking about in terms of like the communal thing, man. Like that's an awesome way to put it, because it's like you said, like you can show somebody a replay and be like, oh, what would you have done in this situation? But it's just like to kind of have that hands-on part. I think that's a huge improvement on like teaching somebody, and being able to kind of like repeat that and just be like, here, or like you said, like, I think that was a great example too. Is like, I'm gonna have this person show me what they think they could have done, and then I'll try, I'll show you what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
It's the best Tekken ever.
Yeah. So I'm looking for blemishes at this point where, like, is the UI shitty or anything like that? Or is it good?
There is
UI
one
is good?
big bug.
Okay.
There is that I found out just from doing online tournaments. There's a bug in the lobby system where if I'm the TO and I was like, all right, time for the stream, I need you two guys to get in there, or I'm streaming on Twitch a lobby or anything, or I just have a lobby open. When the two people start playing and I'm like in the spectator mode, if it's set to, because what's nice is you can, in Tekken 7, all the matches in the lobby were just first to one, and then would kick you back to the lobby, bring the next person over. It was about like 2 minutes in between games. You can only play one game. Here you can set first to 2, first to 3, first to 5, first to 10. I think it goes up to first to 50, which is really, and then there's gauntlet mode, which just enables infinite. Nice. But the bug currently is like, okay, if I'm doing a first to 3 and I'm spectating it, I'll watch the first match, and after the first match, I get kicked out to the lobby, and I just have to imagine what's happening. So like, there's a couple of online tournament organizers that I know that are just saying like, we're not doing any online tournaments until we could figure out how to make this work. Okay. But I actually was sharing the story with somebody about like when I was playing in the online tournament. One thing that I do really like that we haven't talked about at all, which is the Tekken's equivalent of the Street Fighter Battle Hub, which is the Tekken Lounge. Like the way that I was trying to match up with my opponents, because like I'm playing in an online tournament. I think I went 8-2, and so I had to meet with 10 different people. And I don't really know all these people. I don't want to necessarily add them to my Steam friends list and stuff. Or so I would just communicate in Discord like, hey, I'm in America 1 lobby. Come find me. I'm hanging out at the beach. You'll know that it's my character because I got my shoes off, and it also says Shaundude above my name. And I'll be doing a dance. And like my opponent would run up to me, and like we would do like a little high five. And like it was kind of like a little bit of a offline experience of, okay, like I can get a little bit of their personality. I can feel a little bit of them before I like sit down and play with them. And anything you can do in the game online, whether it's ranked or beach volleyball or training mode, anything that's an online feature, you can have, there's access to it in the Tekken Lounge. So when I play ranked, I don't just like hit the ranked button. I go into the Tekken Lounge, I try on some new shoes, and I walked over to like the ranked arcade cabinet, and I'll start playing there. And it's also got training mode in it as well. And then when I want to take a break, I'll hop off the cabinet. I'll take a little walk around the little virtual lounge, see what everybody's doing, see if there's any names I recognize, like emote at them and do like the little Gonryu dance. Say hi, what's up? I think it's really cute. It makes it a little bit more like communal. And I know like the Battle Hub, like maybe not it's everybody's cup of tea, but I feel like I've been hearing a little bit growing people that are getting tired with like ranked and maybe the master rank system and stuff. Like, let's just jump into this Battle Hub room and see all the goofy characters and stuff. They're not as goofy as like the Street Fighter. Like I can't change my head to be larger than my ass cheeks and like walk around like that. Like it kind of looks like a very cute, like IMVU or like Miiverse sort of stuff. Pretty cute, but good.
360 era avatars.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also worth bringing up like Strive's lobbies too. It feels like all the like the really mainstream games right now have this like social networking element to it, or hub or something. I think Strive unfortunately caught the most shit about it because of the way it was implemented. But it sounds like Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 have iterated on that and innovated in their own ways.
Yep, just got to figure out what to do to deal with this all chat situation, because man, does it get nasty and messy.
Yeah, hey, 6 has the same thing, man. Like I try not to interact with people in there, but like occasionally I'll see somebody be like, well, nobody wants to play Dulcim, or no, why would you do this, or why does somebody got to do this? And like I'll occasionally type in there, and then man, some of these people are just ridiculous, and I'm like, you know what? I should have never even said anything.
Wow.
It's
I'm
almost
afraid
like
to type in there too.
it's almost like the Japanese developers, like all three of them got in a room together and were like, you know what we need to do? We need to make the the arcade like culture and bring that online.
Yeah.
And that seems like the guiding star for pretty much every Japanese fighting game that's come out recently. It has one of those modes, because I don't even know if the new Mortal Kombat has a mode like that. I think they stuck to the standard like Soul Calibur style.
But it has open mic chat while you're playing the game, which is 10 times worse. People just say the word. You can't, like, at least you can have like a list of words. If somebody types these words out, blur them out or ban the person or something. If I'm just talking on my mic and I'm playing Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna somebody's gonna say the most wild, terrible things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but there's
I think any
obviously
game, honestly, you'll find some people being shitty.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a whole another topic, because like I know with Call of Duty, that's something that they've done with like AI, like listening for people, like words that people are saying and banning them based on that. So I don't know. That's a whole another can of worms.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that in the post show. I actually have a point to make there. But anyway, yeah, that's great. So if you guys could give me a number out of 10 for Tekken 8, like how would you rate it?
Come on, baby.
Yeah,
What do you think I'm gonna say?
That's easy, man.
Boom.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10? Is it better than other Tekkens?
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's easily
Is it
the best Tekken game.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've cut my teeth on Tekken 7. I put 7 years of my life. I had so many friends, relationships. I traveled to Hawaii on a free vacation because of just the wonderful experiences that I've had with Tekken 7. And Tekken 8 is way better. This game is way cooler. Oh my gosh.
If you know anything about Tekken lore and history, Tekken 7 was supposed to be the last Tekken game, because, you know, without getting too political or like getting into why, Tekken Tag 2 bombed. Nobody bought that.
I didn't know
game.
that. Oh.
So no matter if any Tekken player tries to tell you that Tekken Tag 2 was the best Tekken, just politely just nod your head and be like, yep, and just walk away. Because that game almost killed the series. And then Tekken 7, you know the meme, right, from Iron Man, where the villain's talking to his scientists and they're like, you made this and Tony Stark could make a suit from, you know, scraps and trash. That was Tekken 7. They had no money and they made that game, and somehow also kind of got to thank Street Fighter V's launch a little bit. It became like just this actually super popular game, and people were starting to like put their eyes on it, and like people gave it a try. Definitely still had rough edges, but like people started to understand why Tekken is sick. And then Tekken 8, you know, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Tekken 7 at this point is the most successful Tekken ever. So it's like the opposite of Tag 2. It was like the lowest budget in forever, but it made so much money. It actually made more money than Tekken 3, which was the heyday of Tekkens.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the fact that, Tekken 7 did as well as it did and they made all that money, Tekken 8 is them taking that budget and putting their money where their mouth is and really just making the game they wanted to make. And a lot of the budget and their intentions show that they were not messing around when they made this game. Like, this is supposed to be the best Tekken ever, and it is. So
it's not. They didn't go too hard of like trying to reinvent the wheel of doing like, oh well, now we have all this money. Let's like really go super crazy. Let's make it like radicalize it. Let's Street Fighter 3 First Impact this sucker and like go like all new ideas, everything. Like, no, we still want to make this a Tekken love letter. It still feels and plays like Tekken, but like Tekken Plus. And they really have their faith in this, because when Tekken 7 came out, there were like, you know, Street Fighter 6 comes out. Day that it comes out, here's our release plans. Here's our roadmap for DLC. They did that for Tekken 8 as well. Here's everything we're planning to do afterwards. Tekken 7 came out and they said, here you go. We have no DLC plans. We barely have, like, if something's broken, we'll patch it out, but it's going to be like, we rocked with season 1 for a long, long, long time before we finally figured out, like, oh, well, this game's selling. Okay, let's bring some DLC characters. We got to get Armor King in here or something. We got to, some of these characters and stuff. So, they really, it's so awesome knowing that they have so much faith put into this game, that they're really, really giving it their full 100% attention. That, like, their heart is going into trying to make this, like, the best product out there. And it makes me so, so excited, because right now I am so happy with it as it is. And that's so hard to say for, like, a release fighting game.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good right now. The second we hang up this call, I'm turning on the game and I'm going to be playing. Period. I'm just counting down the minutes.
Yeah. And I just wanted to bring up real quick, all of the stuff we talked about, this is all just talking about training mode, multiplayer. The game has full single player, like an actual single player, content. Stuff that Tekken 7 didn't have. Tekken 7 had a story mode, but it wasn't very cinematic at all. It was famously very, like, boring and slow. But, like, this has, like, a full cinematic story. Apparently it's like 3.5 hours long. I haven't even had time to play it yet, but, like, it's awesome. Has, like, multiple endings, all this different stuff. Wow. Yeah, that's one of them. And then it also has sort of their world tour mode where you just go to different arcades and play people.
That's awesome.
And it has Tekken Ball. So, like, it's a fully featured game, and it's not based on, typical microtransactions and stuff. Right now it's just the season model where, you pay for the DLC characters.
Oh, okay. So there's no, like, battle pass or any kind of predatory stuff there? Nothing.
No,
like
well,
that?
the closest thing they have is if you prepay for all 4 characters in season 1 of DLC, you get to play them 3 days before they come out. Like, people are kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. It's basically hi, I'm a content creator and I want to make, like, content 3 days before the game comes out. So, or before Eddie Gordo comes out. So I'm going to be the first person to pre-buy the whole pack, but nothing crazy. And about just the single player and the love letter, Tekken 7 not only had a terrible story mode, but when you would do, like, arcade mode, which would be like 4 fights, and you would get, the character ending, like, which is historically Tekken 5, 6, 4, Tag 2, 3, 1, 2, every single Tekken game has had these amazing like pre-rendered, like, special character intros that would have different animation styles. So there'd be, like, 2D, there were some that were live action, some in-engine, some that were, like, completely radically different from anything you would expect in Tekken. Each one had a different creative director working on them. They all had different artists behind them, different music. They allowed, like, extreme like, just expression of love for these characters in, like, very creative ways. In Tekken 7, all the character endings were 30 seconds long. They were all rendered in, like, they were just, here's the same character on the stage that you just played in with, like, it looks like just straight gameplay, and it's going to be Eddie Gordo. He's going to walk up. Hi, Lucky Chloe. Let's dance.
That was it.
Roll credits.
Nice.
Terrible. I've played, like, a good chunk of some character endings. There's some really good ones. They're like definitely going back to the script of, like, no, each one of these needs to be a very cool love letter to the character. Like, Tekken 3 Xiao Yu was they did an anime of her running, like, winning the tournament and becoming, the head of the Zaibatsu and using her money to open up an amusement park. And it's, like, a cute 2D animated, like, Shin-chan style animation of her, like, doing all these cute Xiao Yu adventures, a panda being in love with Kuma, Ganryu, like, being weird. That stuff is all back, like, and the humor hits, like, that's always something that has been a staple in the Tekken series, is, like, it is a very serious, like, bloodline rebellion fight of the Mishimas and extreme, like, geopolitical repercussions. But it's funny. I've always loved that Tekken is funny, that there's goofy, silly actions, that these characters are interacting, that, Paul tried doing a backflip and he fell straight on his face and, like, broke and, like, busted his nose open. And now that's a secret move that Paul has had since forever, that you can do this stance and do this big, he tries to do a backflip and he falls on his face and he hurts himself. Like there's so many weird, goofy things that have been these love letters that they've kept going, and they've only doubled in on it. So I'm looking forward to doing. That's probably going to be the next thing I'm going to be doing all this week and next week is doing all the character episodes, because I just want to see, you know, what Dragunov would be doing if he ran his own restaurant or like whatever.
Fair enough.
That's my closing thought. I love Tekken 8. It's the best game.
That's awesome to hear. So this has just been a glowing review of Tekken 8 and then the launch overall. It seems like, with minus some hiccups, it seems like first impressions are very solid. So I hope that we can have you all back on in a couple months to kind of see how your opinions on the game have evolved. And, you know, at some point, I kind of am curious about what's next for this game and what the wish list would be for what you guys would want to see in a season 2 and whatnot. So glad you're enjoying it. Glad you're having a great time. Glad you're celebrating the series that everyone holds dear, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Bring my main character back. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Cool. Usually we ask about footsies. I think we've asked you, Steven. Sean, have we asked you that question yet? What is footsies to you? Okay, yeah. Then there's no wrong answer to this question. It's just, it's different for everybody, and that's kind of why we ask. But Sean, what is footsies to you? Kind of swung it on you there.
Yeah. Well, footsies to me is, it's kind of like it, well, at least in Tekken 3D game, that movement is so at the core of it. Footsies is defining your personality and reading your opponent's personality and seeing in just the smallest interactions. How brave are you? How passive are you? How cautious are you? If I move forward, do you move back? Or do you come forward just to meet me right in the middle, saying, I'm here and ready for you? I think movement, I don't like even think of like attacks. I just think of just moving around somebody as me defining my personality, my confidence, and my strategy just from looking at each other. Because there's, even you watch like UFC fights and stuff, so much of the fight is just them moving around each other, positioning, you know, the three elements that are in the ring: me, my opponent, and the arena, which is huge in Tekken. We don't usually think about that in 2D games like the stages or whatever, but the stage is just as important of a character as the two people throwing fists. So my footsies to me is my expression of confidence and character and how I move towards you and towards my towards the wall. So
wow. Okay. It sounds like I didn't spring it on you, man. You were ready.
That's what it's just what I've always loved. Why I gravitate towards Tekken so much is just the movement allows for so much expression. Even before we get into the moves, the mix-ups, anything, just how I move. Like I could just read. I know so much about you. I know what you ate for breakfast just by how many backdashes you took after you blocked this jab. Like it's perfect. If you play hitbox, I know within 2 seconds, I know immediately that you are a hitbox player. It's beautiful. I really love. So I'll say like footsies to me is movement, and it's just moving around. And
then just like you know all that stuff, Super Ghost will know that too.
Yep, absolutely. My ghost be backdashing like me too.
Cool. Well, any shout outs on the way out here, guys?
Go to locals. Shout out
your locals.
Go to your locals. Play this. This game is so good offline or online, but playing it offline, sitting next to people, you're going to have so many smiles on your face. There's so many crazy, awesome interactions, so many things that you don't think would work that you try and they do. And you and your opponent are going, damn, like that. Go play this with somebody that, you know, just go play this with somebody, even if not locals. Bring your sister, bring your cousin, get your coworkers to just sit down and play with you, because it is just, it's awesome. It's an awesome game that's extremely easy to pick up, that just to sit there and have fun and do like press all the buttons and see cool martial arts moves. Yes, a shout out playing this game offline with people that you want to connect with.
Nice. That's
a good one. Yeah, definitely. Like shout outs to the people that, you know, you're just your regular like group of friends that you play with, whatever games. even if it's not fighting games. Like, shout outs to the people that you spend your time doing this with. As far as like the scene, like obviously shout outs to all the Phoenix people, all the people that show up to tournaments, casuals, and soon, hopefully, now that the netcode's good, we'll do some like online stuff. Really anyone that's just enjoys Tekken, because there's new players that, you know, people always look at the game and are like, oh, this looks fun, but it's too hard or whatever, you know, the excuses. Even if you're just a casual viewer, shout outs to you, because like Tekken is fun. Like, it's fun to watch, it's fun to play, mash buttons, be serious. Yeah, just that anyone that shows any kind of interest in the game, shout outs to you. And the people that, like I said, that play with you, like, keep it relevant for you, because, you know, without other people to play against, like, what even are we doing, right? We're just playing single player, and then it's still fun.
Just playing Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, just playing Ghost.
Shout outs to our Ghosts now for giving us extra people to play against.
I'm telling you, man, Ghosts are going to take jobs.
You know what? That might be okay. Does playing Tekken need to be my job?
It's going to be like, it's like, hey, Ben, you want to run sets? Like, no, I'm already running sets against you. I'll see you at the tournament. Like, damn.
Right.
I just play my Ghost, man.
Yeah, just play my Ghost, man. I got work to do. Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, this has been the Absolute Guard Podcast, episode 72 with Jon, Benny, Steven, and Sean. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Spiral Series, YouTube at youtube.com/Spiral Series, and an Apple Podcasts and Spotify under Absolute Guard. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Fun. I like this game. I like talking about it.